All right, DJ Davidson is joining us. Thank you, DJ, for the time. Hode is our first question. Go ahead, Hode.
Hey, DJ, how you doing? When we talked to Robert Rodriguez, he said that he's really, really pleased with the way you're personally playing. Can you talk about your development? What in specific do you feel you have progressed the most since last year, or maybe even since spring practice?
Mm-hmm. I'm doing good. Just mainly with my development as a player, just understanding that I have power behind me. I can use my legs and just keep my feet moving. And he's really honed in and tuned in on me and just using my power, using my hands, controlling the person in front of me, and then use my athleticism. So that's really what I just really been working on. So in my player development.
Jacob.
DJ, as somebody who's been at ASU for a number of years now, and as somebody who's been able to observe different offensive schemes come through Tempe and had to practice against them, what can you say are the biggest differences and the strengths of this offense that Coach Zach Hill is running and how you've observed it as a defensive player?
He does a lot of shifts and a lot of, stuff like that try to confuse people. But for the most part, just lining up fast and just playing fast, having us to make sure that we keep up with them. So that's really about it.
Ray.
Hey, DJ. TJ talked to us about your tremendous strides since last year and also how you're someone he tries to imitate and look up to. Have you taken on a leadership role this year that's perhaps bigger than last year?
I would say I just do what I have to do. I don't really I don't know. It's weird. I just try to come in every day, just do what I have to do. I don't talk much. I'm very quiet. So I just come in, just whatever coach tells me to do, I just try to do my best at that. And if I fail, then just move on to the next play. And then when it comes back around, just do my best. So in that aspect, I would say in that way. So.
Trevor.
Hey, DJ, coaches have talked about Anthony as a guy that's done really well in preseason camp and can provide versatility kind of at 3 technique where he was in the spring and then at end now. Just what have you seen from his individual development?
Man, he's improved a lot. Just with his hands, his leverage, he can bend, and he's so athletic and so quick that he just can defeat people just with his speed alone. And once he just gets his technique down and his eyes in the right place and his hands, he's just almost unstoppable.
Ode.
So, DJ, what can you tell us about the offensive line, the group that you go up against every day in practice? Do you feel that this is just as strong as a group as it was last year, or have they made some noticeable improvements from 2019?
I think they're better. And Cade filled in. He makes me work every day. Donovan makes me work every day. Henry makes me work every day. Kellen makes me work every day. Just everyone along the whole line just makes me work, makes me get better. And I think they're a great offensive line, and I love them to death because it's getting me better. It's getting the D-line better. Everybody at our 3 techniques, our ends, everyone's just improving all around.
And just as a follow-up question, how cool is it you being a local player going against Cade Cote, a local player every day in practice?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't really play against them in high school, but just being 2 local people is just an awesome thing to kind of hold, I would say, because we're both from Arizona. So.
Mark.
Hey, DJ, thanks for the time today. Hey, just curious, Herm was talking a little bit about just Marvin coming back, and he was kind of surprised when he decided to coordinate the defense and go back to college. What's it like to have a former NFL head coach as your coordinator, working with Antonio Pierce, the stuff they've seen, and how does that kind of get, how does that kind of go in meetings?
He knows so much. We can ask him any question, and he's there to help us. He's there to give us the knowledge to be successful in the field. Because he's seen all levels. He's seen NFL. He's seen college. He's seen every level of football. So if just simple things, just being confident as him as our coach, that we can trust him and he can trust us. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from having NFL coaches and stuff like that.
Jeff.
Appreciate it. Can
you go into a little more about this power that they're trying to bring out in you versus your athleticism? Because Rodriguez talked about that too. How is that actually happening?
Just taking control of the man in front of me. Because last year, when I got off the ball, sometimes I'd peek in the backfield and not necessarily defeat the man in front of me, but this year he's really honing on me, just making sure when I shoot my hands, I'm shooting my hands on my man, defeating him, and just let the ball come to me rather than me trying to force making plays, and just keep my feet moving through the person rather than flipping my hips around them and drifting off to the side, just going through that person. That's kind of what he talks about when he says about power.
Jacob.
Is that something that you thought maybe I've got to be like more athletic, try to get around guys rather than just, sort of physically beating them? Is that a transition for you?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a transition because I've always done it here and there, but now I have to do it every play or else I won't be successful in this type of defense. Because that's what he wants. He wants to use our power and then use our athleticism once I beat him in front of me.
Jacob.
For your role specifically, what do you view as the biggest differences between what you were asked to do last year versus what you're being asked to do now?
Last year it was a lot of like long steps and stuff like that. Just get off the ball, cancel gaps with my movement. And this year it's just I get my gap and I just do my thing in my gap and just defeat the man in front of me. That's kind of the biggest difference from last year's stuff to this year.
Any more